We're back here waking up with Dee on News and Talk WAOK, the voice of the community. And we have a special guest with us this morning. We have with us Judge Penny Brown Reynolds, who is in a runoff for the seat of Secretary of State here in Georgia. I am really glad that she was able to come and join us on today and talk to us a little bit about her campaign as we head into the runoff. Good morning and welcome to the show, Judge Penny Brown Reynolds.
Good morning, Dee. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here. First time on your show.
I know, and I'm so glad that you finally came this way. Really, you should have been on my show first before anybody else's show, but it's okay because you even got to fill in for DB a few times, and so I always felt jealous because you didn't fill in for me any, but it's okay. It's okay.
That's all right. Look, newly grandmother, so you still on a high from that. It's just glad to be here with you, honey.
Honey, I'm just glad to have you on the show. And you know what, I really thought we were going to be finished with this. But that's okay. That's okay. We're still going to push it on to the end. So tell us a little bit about your campaign. I don't know if you heard the previous caller, but I had someone call in just now who was a Republican who basically was talking to me about why should race be included in elections and all of the whatnot. And basically we were going back and forth about the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and there shouldn't be certain, special privileges and nothing should be based on race. I am of the opinion that even here in the state of Georgia, voter suppression exists. It's here and it's real by the current administration. So talk to us a little bit, first of all, about your campaign and what you plan to do, and then maybe you could touch on the other one for us.
Well, I absolutely want to touch on it as a civil rights lawyer and one who ran the Civil Rights Division at the United States Department of Agriculture. It's wonderful to say let's do away with race when race was the basis for years and years of discriminating against individuals. We love to wrap our arms around the Constitution, but what about the Equal Protection Clause, which indicates that we cannot infringe upon the constitutional guarantee of equal protection. But we can talk about that. That's the argument that can be made because I'm the only lawyer in the race on both sides. For those of you who are listening, I garnered more votes than the Republicans and the Democrats in this Secretary of State's election. And I believe I did that because I bring a level of unmatched qualifications that nobody else can. You don't have to be a lawyer to be in this position, but what it does now, it calls for it. We are in a state of emergency when it comes to the division that we have here, but when we have the infringement of people believing they are above the law. And so at a time like this, I think the timing is more important than anything. My career has been rooted in service and protecting access. I won 121 counties throughout the state, 14 points above throughout the state area, my opponent. And I did that because I went throughout the state understanding we love Atlanta, we love the metro area, but I learned from a lot of people that, Georgia is all of Georgia. And so for me, it's always been about protecting the rights of citizens. That's what a civil rights lawyer is about. So as Secretary of State, I'm not going to simply administer elections. I believe I've been called to defend the constitutional authority that comes from making certain that everyone has the right to have a fair, free election. And I'm going to help safeguard that. And I believe a person like myself, who was the governor's lawyer, a person who worked for a president of the United States, a person who's been a judge, earned PhD, and a professor in this very thing, there's going to be intense national pressure. And we need someone with fortitude and Dee, like you, I'm a pastor, you're in ministry, that gives me compassion that I think is lacking to bring this state together. Because we're never going to do, a person who can win a primary, we need a person who can win a general election. And if you can't even win the state of Georgia in a primary, there's no way there's no road to be able to win it in a general election. And I believe I bring all of that. I bring a competence that is absolutely needed during this time.
Oh my goodness. I just love the fact that you talked about many of your qualifications. And so when you said that you were the governor's lawyer, explain to them what role you had in Governor Barnes' administration, because many people don't know that you were the first to do that as a Black woman.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for that. And I think it's really about educating people. When the moment we come into this office in January of 2027, they got folks on the Republican side and on the opposition won't even know where the bathroom is in the Capitol. Let me tell you why it's so important to have state-level experience. That's executive experience. And also, Dee, I was the first African-American, or just to say, for the lieutenant governor and chief of staff over the Senate. So I bring legislative experience. When you are the executive counsel, that's general counsel. That is the top lawyer for the governor in this state. I did that 30 years ago. That means that all of the agencies, whether it's law enforcement agencies, for me it was the GBI, corrections offices, community development, where you're dealing with grants and whatnot, you have to have a liaison from our office, the executive department. And I was that person, worked with the chief of staff, met with the governor every day, and any policy that the governor promulgated during that time. Roy Barnes had one of the most successful economic packages in Georgia at that time, had to be run through me. Every press release, the budget, had to get the approval. Mark Taylor, who was the lieutenant governor, said in Albany when he was supporting me, he said nothing, and Andrew Young said that, nothing ran through that Capitol without having to go through my approval and review. That's the kind of experience that you can't bring through a few years of somebody being in elected office. I bring that kind of in-depth experience. I'm a former prosecutor, former assistant attorney general under a Republican. It was Mike Bowers at the time. Worked for Pierre Howard. Went on to be on the bench for nearly a decade with a record that is impeccable, never reversed on any criminal matter. Only judge in the state of Georgia to be able to have that record. Went on to So when you're dealing with the executive branch, you're also dealing with working with legislators, because even when I come in as the Secretary of State, as a Democrat, if the General Assembly is Republican, I've got to know how to work with them. And I know that people want to keep us divided, but if we're only going to be able to get anything done, I have a $49 million budget that is woefully, we need more in that budget. All of the fees from the Secretary of State's office goes to the general budget. In order to do what we need to do with all 159 counties, to make elections across the board equal and consistent and training everyone, we're going to need to increase that budget. So I have to know how to go to the Appropriations Committee and do that. That's a level of expertise that when I come in January 2027, we have a presidential election in 2028, and we're going to be doing new voting machines. All of that is coming. So you need not only a chief elections officer, but you need a CEO who can come in on day one and know how to do this job. And I have that expertise.
All right. So what I need for you to do is hold on for me, if you don't mind, because I want to bring you back on the other side of the break. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, all right. You're Waking Up with Dee on News and Talk